Hello, Namaste, Sastikal, good evening. Welcome to the S.S.Chandhok talk show. I'm your host and moderator, S.S. Chandhok. Today, we have gathered here with very special guests to talk about a very special topic, that is making maths problem solving easy. So we had been seeing during centuries that, during decades, that there have been a lot of problem regarding the middle school age students' maths problem. When they come into the middle school, because the chapters increase, so many things increase, there's a phobia amongst the students that maths is going to be a big thing for them. So how can we remove these problems? This we are going to discuss today. The very special guest we have today is Farzana Shakil Ali ma'am. She is the principal of a very prestigious institution in Barabanki, Kriti Public School. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming. I mean, it's a pleasure and honor that you have come up to the show. Ma'am, I don't know about you a lot, but people will like to know about yourself, about your journey as a teacher and as a principal, as a director as of now. You have a very vast experience. You are a trainer. You're giving training not only to the teachers, to the principals all over, I think, pan India, because many people, I mean, so many people, they know you throughout the country because of this. Please, ma'am, please let us know about yourself. Did you came in this profession by chance or by choice? And how did this journey had been till now? Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chandok, first of all, for inviting me, especially on this platform. And I really love, I have been watching your talk shows, I have been a part of it. And it's something I will really appreciate, that this initiative of yours is bringing the best brains together, and the discussions that you choose to have, those topics are really very, very relevant if we talk in context of school education. So thank you all very much. I am, as Chandok ji has already introduced, I am Dr. Farzana Shakil Ali, a passionate educator, nothing beyond that. And I enjoy learning and sharing my knowledge without any fuss. So easy, approachable educator, and willing to learn always. So I have been working in this since long. It has been almost 29, 30 years now. Never stopped learning. I never knew when I was into this profession, because by the time I was doing my post-graduation, and then this school life happened in terms of profession. So yes, as I said, I made it my choice, because whatever comes, whatever life brings to me, I accept it, with heart full of gratitude. So the same way I accepted this profession, and then tried to deliver the best by upgrading myself on everyday basis. So till date, I'm doing that. And in short, yes, I'm director principal of Kriti Public School. Before that, also, I have been heading CBSE affiliated schools in Lucknow. Secretary Sahodaya, Barabanki and Bahraich, District Training Coordinator for Barabanki and Bahraich. And yes, few more positions that I hold bring me more in touch with the educators of our nation. So this is something which I put very humbly across. Thank you and welcome you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and welcome once again for coming. Next, we have Monica Chawla, ma'am. She is the principal of St. Joseph's Senior Secondary School, Chandigarh. Welcome, ma'am. You are coming from my favorite city, Chandigarh. So please let us know about yourself, ma'am, because you are in the first time in the show. People would like to know about you, about your journey as a teacher coming to becoming a principal, and how did you came into by choice or by chance?
Sir, I was very passionate about being an educator. So my passion has brought me here, and thank you so much for having me on your talk show, sir. I'm also going to experience it for the first time. I heard a lot about it, but I was fortunate enough to be picked by you to be a part of one of them. So thank you so much for having me here. And I'm looking forward for learning from all the co-panelists also. Very eager to hear all of them, because we cannot grow unless and until we learn each day and become a better version of ourselves. So just with that intent, I'm here to listen as well as to share my little experiences and little knowledge Sir, I've been into education for last 18 years and was blessed by God to be honored with the CBSE Best Principal Award this year. And also, I'm into training under many COEs of CBSE. I've delivered more than 250 sessions on more than 98 topics by now. And just trying to learn more and more each day. I think there is too much for us to take out from NEP 2020 and bring it to our classroom. So the task is very, very big and challenging. And we really can't do it without a tinge of mentoring and a tinge of motivation. So the formula of 3M, we need to mentor them and motivate them. Only then we can, monitor them. So we don't earn the right unless and until we mentor and motivate them. And then the formula of 3I, which very rightly says, intent is most important to start anything, and implementing it in the right spirit is the second point. And third is then only we can have the impact. So intent and implement in the right proportion can only lead to a wonderful impact, and NEP can only be implemented in the schools of India, and we can actually meet the standards of the global education only if we work together. And I hope, sir, you are doing a wonderful job in the same. So once again, many congratulations and good wishes too. Just few lines for all teachers I would like to say. शुक्र है शिक्षक हूँ कुछ और नहीं, शुक्र है शिक्षक हूँ कुछ और नहीं, मैं और सड़क एक जैसे कहलाते हैं, मैं और सड़क एक जैसे कहलाते हैं, हम वही रहते हैं, सबको अपनी मंजिल तक पहुंचाते हैं, वही कक्षा वही किताबें, पर होते कभी बोर नहीं, शुक्र है शिक्षक हैं कुछ और नहीं. So by passion I am here, sir. Thank you.
Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful. Wonderful starting you have given to the show. Thank you so much, ma'am. You have a wonderful experience, long experience also. And thank you to you also for motivating me as well as coming up to the show. Thank you so much, ma'am. Then we have Mitushi Negi, ma'am. She is the principal of a very good school, ma'am, Central Academy, Lucknow. Ma'am, can you tell me can we know the branch name? Which branch it is?
Eldico Greens. It has newly come up 2 years
back. Okay. That's great, ma'am. Thank you so much, Mitushi, ma'am. Once again, coming up to the show. Ma'am, please, you also let us know about yourself. You're into the profession by chance or by choice. And how did it go from a teacher to a principal?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me here. And I'm honored that Fazana ma'am is there, Monica ma'am is here, you are here, Nirmal sir is there. It is like, it is said now that आप जो चुनना चाहते हो आपको खुद मिल जाता है. So that is the way I have, sir, started. I always felt, as I was last time also, I told sir, I remember, my mom wanted me to be a lawyer. Because they bolti ho law kar logi. Fortunately, somehow I was fascinated with small kids. And I just told her, Mama, I want to teach children and just let me see. And that was one thing she said, what will you go and do there? And sir, I can proudly say that I started as a nursery teacher. So from the base, I have come till here. And even I don't know how my journey is like and where it will culminate. But sir, it is said that end does not matter. From where you are meandering like a river, that journey is more important. So I'm very happy that I can proudly say that I'm a teacher, because even a principal is also a teacher. She's heading a group of teachers. She herself is also a teacher. And I started from Lucknow only, and then I moved to Kanpur also. And it was my good fortune. I met you in Kanpur. We were there at Singhania's. I worked there as an HM at Sir Padampat Singhania Education Center, Kanpur. And then I came back to Lucknow because Lucknow is my place. My family also belongs to Lucknow only. And now again, I joined back in Central Academy. I joined back Indranagar branch as a HM again. And sir, by chance, I should say, rather, it was destined or I was opportunate. This branch was opened and somehow they felt that our old member will be a better person to take care of. And I was switched over as the principal of Central Academy, Eldico Greens. And sir, I don't know, still I'm learning. So that's what I said, you have invited me here, so I learned from you, from Monica ma'am, Frazana ma'am, because you all are seasoned principals. I know that.
Ma'am, we all learn from each other. We learn from a 1-year child also sometimes. So life is the whole life is a long learning process, and we have to learn and we have to share our thoughts. So this platform is only to share our thoughts with each other, how we can grow and and bring up better things for the students for sure. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next we have Nirmal Shah sir. Let me talk about him formally first. He is the co-founder of Counting Well, a maths learning app for middle schoolers. The goal of this app is to make maths learning easy, anxiety-free, and participative for children across the country. Their focus is to help the so-called average students become more confident with maths and develop great problem-solving skills. They step in where school teachers are not able to provide personalized attention due to lack of time and bandwidth. He is also in designing career and life lesson courses he has made for the age group of 10 to 14 years, built around mathematics. And his saying is that kids must know that maths matter and it will matter throughout their life. The best way to do that is to show them how. So I met Sir, and he has a very vast experience of more than 2 decades and many companies he has worked with. I won't talk about that, but I'll try to talk that I met Sir in one of the show where he was a co-speaker, and we were talking about this. And I came to know about the wonderful thing the app he has brought about, and where he's helping the middle school students. I asked him, Sir, why did you start it up at the middle school from 6 onwards? Why didn't from 1 to 5? You should start it at the ascending order. Why you started from the middle? He said, Sir, you might have noticed that the students they have start having problem during the middle school from grade 6 when algebra and logarithm, many things they come up. So there the teachers, they are also occupied because they have 40 minutes period and they have 40 students in the class. They have limited resources to talk to the students, to teach to the students, to explain them. So he said that while doing this, he'll tell himself, for sure, sir, I'm sorry, I'm telling everything on myself, that he gave me so much knowledge. I am the richest person because every show I am getting knowledge more. I'm getting the knowledge of all the episodes. So people ask me, why have you started this? What the benefit you get out of it? I said, the benefit, you can't understand that. But benefit I am getting is you cannot understand. This is what I'm absorbing from everyone. So what he told me about the this app is that how this app is helping, and we have seen many students. Most of the students, they don't ask inside the class. Even the parents are also telling them, if you're not able to understand, ask in the class. You please don't keep quiet, mama papa nahi wo sab mazak udate hain. Matlab they are feared that is, so this way the others also they don't ask. So that learning gap happens in all the subjects, especially with mathematics, because other subjects are learning subjects, what, and maths is entirely different, that because it is about understanding. So the wonderful apps are as created, and I'm also using it out. So helpful it is to the kids that there's a drastic change in the maths level of the students or the middle school students, which ultimately reaches to the higher classes. You don't take mathematics in 11th, 12th also. Why? Because they have not done in 6th, 7th, 8th. How can they do good in 9th, 10th? And why will they take in 11th and 12th? So this drastic change happens, a turn comes up during the middle school, which Sir has started up a very fantastic product. I mean, fantastic app. And the best thing is that he's giving it right now with free of cost to the schools who are associating. So over to you, Sir. I'm so sorry I've talked so much about your Counting Well, because I'm so much fascinated about it. And thank you so much, Sir, that on my request you're coming up for the show for few episodes. Few now, so there are many episodes have happened, and you will have to come also for a few more episodes also, many more actually. Over to you, sir. Please let us know that how did it came to your mind to start up a venture like this. People are going up with English, they're going up with robotics, they're going up with different things. You have taken the biggest burden, that is mathematics, and how you're making it easy, how did it came in your mind, and how is this Counting Well type of apps they are making it easy for the kids as well as the teachers. Over to you, sir.
Sure, sir. Thank you for inviting me again. And like everybody here has said, it's been always been a great learning experience. Even though you call me an expert, uh, there is always learning which happens, and just hearing and being in the presence of all these educators, one, it is very humbling because it shows how great they are and where we are. And second, we always learn. It helps us improve ourselves, improve our product, improve how we are trying to help the children. So I should be thanking you for calling me, sir.
My pleasure, sir. Please let us know about Counting Well also, sir.
Sure, sir. So why we started Counting Well
Yeah.
is, really about 4 or 5 years back. my son was just getting into middle school, and I could start seeing the struggle in his maths learning. He there was a change in his level of interest and his level of enthusiasm. More than the scores, I could see that change in enthusiasm. First till about fifth grade, he would come happily from school. Immediately, he would take out his books and start doing the homework. What I saw in the sixth grade onwards is that he would come and then start loitering around. I want to play, I want to eat, मैं थक गया हूँ. All those stories would come, and we would have to actually push him. And that thing was most prominent with mathematics. And I started wondering why this is happening. And of course, even in my age, I felt that, and we have heard so many principals talk about it, that they have felt it and in their age as well when they were in school. So it seemed like a constant problem. And then my co-founder and I, we are friends for almost 20 plus years, and we talked about it. What is really going on here? Is there something we can do about it? We come from a software and technology background, so we said, why don't we create some kind of a web application or a website where we can simply assess the children to find out why they are having this kind of a problem. So we did some research, and what we realized is that even though the schools typically focus on what we call as summative assessment, so end of the term you do an assessment and you say that this child is average, this child is good, this child is bad, and so on, and you only link it with the marks. There are actually a lot of nuances when it comes to learning maths and the problem solving skills. So we said we should be able to find out what are these problems and what are the learning gaps, why they are not able to learn, rather than say that they are not able to learn and leave it there. So based on that, we created an assessment, and then we said, let's go to a few schools. So we went to 4 schools, about 1,500 students took our assessment as a pilot. This was almost, I think, 2.5, 3 years back. So we said, let's just do it as a pilot to see, first of all, कि जो हम सोच रहे हैं वो सही है कि नहीं. Because we were outsiders, we don't come from the education background. So our theory was that when it comes to maths problem solving, children have to know the concepts, they have to know number operations, but they also have to have additional skills. Like the most important skill that we think is comprehension skill or the language skill. What we found is that language is the biggest barrier to mathematics rather than maths itself being the barrier, right? So we said that because children are not able to understand the problem, or because they are not able to understand complex statements, they might be having issues with problem solving. Second, what we realize is that when you try to solve a problem, there has to be a strategy, there has to be a kind of step by step. You can't simply jump into a solution. So how do we make the children think of or start processing the problem in a certain way? Have a kind of mental algorithm to solve the problem, and that we call as modeling the solution. So we said that we have to identify whether the children are having problem because of these things or they just don't know the concepts. So we did this assessment, and what we found as a result of that assessment is that majority of the students were having a problem because of comprehension skills. They were not able to solve problems because they could not understand the problem. So where is the question of applying any kind of numeracy to it, right? So what we found is simple example. When you say that divide 768 by 8, most kids will be able to do it. When we give them a problem which says that there are 768 students in a school, and 1 out of every 8 children have a personal computer at home. So how many children in this school have a PC at home? And they will not know that they have to do the same division there, right? So that was the problem which we identified. So we went to these schools and we showed them the reports, and we said, "Ye dekhiye, this is what we have identified." We were very proud of ourselves for having identified all these things. They said, "It's very good, a lot of very interesting data, but iska hum kya karen? We need the solution for this," right? Because the problem is not just that children are having these issues, there are also other problems. So one of the things what we found is a very interesting thing happened. A couple of the principals said that, can you ask some of the teachers, the maths teachers of these same students, to take up your assessment? And we said, fine, why not? So we did that. And what we found is that the teachers are also having the same problems that the children are having. जब टीचर को नहीं समझ में आता तो बच्चे को कैसे समझाएंगे, right? And second issue that we found is that one of the teachers, she called me and she said that this is a 6th standard problem that you have given, and I am an 8th standard teacher. I cannot solve this problem. I don't do this topic anymore. So that was, to be honest, it was a shock to me, right? Why is that? Especially maths means that what you're learning in first, second, third, fourth, it keeps adding up. So where is the question of saying that sixth grade topic is not for me when you are an eighth grade teacher? But we realize that that is how the whole content itself is structured, and that is causing the problem, right? So one is that you have about 15 chapters to complete, and you have to complete that effectively in about 6 or 8 months, right? Not the whole 12 months. And in between that, you have got cultural activities, examinations, tests, this, that, everything comes, which are adding on to it. So where is the time to for the teacher to actually go back, look at other concepts, look at other things, focus on other things? And where is the time to focus on every child individually? That just doesn't exist. So हम चाहे कितना भी बोलें कि टीचर का प्रॉब्लम है या सिस्टम खराब है, actually it is the whole syllabus, it is the whole setup which is a problem. So what we realize is that what happens is that every classroom is what we call is a teacher centric classroom. The teacher drives it, whereas the real learning happens when it is student centric. So what can we do to create a balance? The child always needs a teacher. Teacher के बिना पढ़ाई नहीं हो सकती. That everybody knows, right? You need that guru in your life in every stage, right? Forget at that early stage. Early stage, so it is very, very important. So teacher is always required. At the same time, we need to bring that student centricity somehow. So that is why we created Countingware. We said that can we do something where we can personalize the learning for the child, where it is very, very individualized for every child based on their learning gaps and learning needs. And at the same time, we can become a aid to the teacher. We can become a tool for the teacher so that the teacher can also effectively use it in the classroom. So by combining that, what we were able to do is that, bring that balance between the teacher centricity and the student centricity. At the same time, we are able to create a very personalized learning tool for the child. So sorry, I went too long, but
no problem, sir.
That was the whole story.
No problem, sir. You are the problem solver. The problem solver has to talk much about. We are here to listen to you only, especially because you are going to solve a problem, because principals cannot reach everywhere. So they need some tool or help where the maths, we have to work on all the subjects, especially on the English and mathematics. What I think Farzana ma'am will also agree with that we have to work more on English as well as mathematics. So we had been talking about language learning also. Farzana ma'am, remember we have been talking about language learning. We have been talking about reading also. Now we are talking about mathematics. So the different subjects we are taking which are directly related to the students. And AP for seniors like Farzana ma'am are talking about, and they'll be coming next week also talking about this in Kanpur even, ma'am. So we people, I'm trying to keep up the topics which are very centrally located with the kids over there. Thank you so much, sir. I think Sahu sir is also there. Prasad Sahu sir is also there. Good evening, sir. Sahu sir, Amit, he was having some connection problem from last 20 minutes. Welcome, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Sir is also, a maths person, and welcome, sir. Sir is the principal of Mount Ida Z School. Which place, sir? Bhubaneswar. Bhubaneswar, sir is from Bhubaneswar. Mount Ida Z School. He is the principal over there, sir. And I came to know through a principal about him that he is a maths expert. Please do call him. And you will be amazed, ma'am, Monica ma'am, Farzana ma'am, and Tushi ma'am, that when I'm inviting principals for the show for this topic, they're saying we'll love to come to your show, but please don't call us for mathematics. Mathematics is not our subject. So I do tell them, see, we are not calling you. I'm not calling you for solving problems over there. We won't give you sums over there to solve over there. We are principals. We have to look after everything. Even we don't have any background of mathematics. We are talking about a divinity level. No, please leave it. It becomes sometimes very difficult falling for mathematics. So you see, when you are as a principal, when there are so many difficulties, what about the kids then? So one of the principal who is a very good principal and a senior principal, and she also had been the show. She recommended me that I should call Sahu sir also, that he is a maths person and he has so many good tricks about mathematics also. A lot of praise she has told about Sahu sir. Sahu sir, welcome, and welcome to the show, sir. Thank you so much for coming, sir. Sir, please let us know about yourself. We already had an introduction of all the other principals. Please let us know about yourself. You came into this profession by chance, by choice. How did you started as a teacher, from which school, and now as a principal of Z School, Bhubaneswar?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Myself, Prasad Sahu. And in this industry, I have been there since last 22 years. And people know me by HP sir. And I started my career from Agra, in Delhi Public School, Agra, long back in 2001. And now I'm in Bhubaneswar, and in my journey, I have worked in Vidya Mandir classes as IIT faculty, and I am a trained IVDP and IGCSE mathematics educator. And I am among the very few mathematics educators in India who has got the expertise from all the various boards like ISC, CBSE, IGCSE, IB, PIP, MIP. And I am a teacher's trainer also for International Baccalaureate Diploma Program. I go abroad for training teachers as well as for Cambridge affiliated schools also. I work as a trainer, and in Indian schools, my basic area of interest is about research on Vedic mathematics. That's why this place, Odisha, called me and I came here because Puri is the origin of Vedic mathematics, and I'm on research on it. And happy to be here.
That's amazing, sir. Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much for coming, sir. And we were talking about the difficulty level with the student phase, especially when it comes to the middle school, they start up with that. We're talking about that in this show, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. Let's come up to the next round, which I'll call it suggestion, not a question round. The first question will be for Monica ma'am. Monica ma'am, over to you. We want to know your views on the saying that mathematics becomes a burden in middle school. So according to you, what are the reasons behind it?
Sir, I was just also introspecting this, as I was invited on this show and I was to see the cause and what are the solutions. These were the two main things which were in my mind. So I was just trying to dig around whatever I have experienced while having my meetings with the HODs and, especially the team of mathematics teachers. And I was recently going through a learning framework which has been released by CBSE in collaboration with Azim Premji University. So that framework has come out few days back and I was just going through it and I was just trying to sum it up in the form of an ABCDE of the causes, why it becomes a burden. So if we start with A, so it is an anxiety which is caused because it's not a cramming subject. It's a subject which is based on understanding. So that's first reason for making mathematics a big burden. I'm not able to hear you, sir.
You please carry on, ma'am. Please carry on.
Okay. So with A, I feel that it's the anxiety because they feel that, we'll have to practice it a lot and we won't learn it as we are able to learn others. So rote memorization fails badly in mathematics. It's purely based on the understanding. And B stands for the baggage of unclear concepts. As they move from one class to another, the baggage of unclear concepts becomes heavier and heavier. And that leads to, a bigger trouble in the subject of mathematics because the concepts are not clear. They cannot understand what's happening in the class. There's a total disconnect. And therefore, there is lack of interest as well. And it becomes a burden because ultimately they have to sit for the exam irrespective. They understand it, they like it, they're able to, go for it. Then C comes as challenge of consistency in practice. C stands for challenge because this is a subject which needs regular practice. And if we see the foreign countries reports also, they also say that there is a summer slide in mathematics. Summer slide, they have 2 months break. And when the children are on break, that means it leads to, downfall of 11 months of practice of the students in the class. So one summer break means slipping of 6 months if we take it in India. So because they're not practicing it daily because classes are not on, they are on a vacation and they're not having that self-motivation to go for it. It's only a holiday homework which they push themselves, during the last 2-3 days because they have to submit it. So they'll copy it or they'll take some support, but it's not self-driven. So the biggest thing is the challenge of consistency of practice also is a big hurdle, a big challenge which stands ahead. Then D stands for development of phobia due to lack of inability to get the right answers. आपने देखा होगा whenever a child is sitting with maths, when he or she is making hard efforts to get the right answer and the answer is not matching, they feel so devastated, that I really can't do it. So they develop a phobia that, this is not my cup of tea. So there are usually in mathematics extreme cases, sir. a category of those, yes, we can do it, and others we cannot do it. So that is also another important cause. And then last but not the least, E, which is very, very important, that is engaging pedagogies which must be incorporated in the classroom teaching learning process, which is very important vertical of education sector, that is teaching learning process. तो टीचिंग लर्निंग प्रोसेस में इंगेजिंग एक्टिविटीज जब तक नहीं आएंगी, स्टूडेंट्स का इंटरेस्ट नहीं बनेगा, दे विल नॉट गेट हुक्ड विद देयर टीचर, दे विल नॉट एंजॉय मैथमेटिक्स. जब तक उसका कनेक्ट रियल लाइफ से नहीं किया जाएगा, जब तक उसमें कोई रिवॉर्ड सिस्टम इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं किया जाएगा, जब तक उसको जो इन्फोग्राफिक्स हमारे न्यूज़पेपर्स में आते हैं उनमें से अगर हम चार्ट्स को उठा के डिकोड करने के लिए दें, बेटा दिस इज द डेटा इन फ्रंट ऑफ अस, ट्राई टू डिकोड दिस डेटा, व्हाट डू यू फील, व्हिच स्पीशीज डिक्लाइनिंग एंड व्हिच इज एक्सटिंक्ट, जस्ट ट्राई टू सी द पीरियड फॉर व्हाट दिस स्पीशीज सर्वाइव्ड. So there can be n number of I just have a file in front of me, there's an infographic on this, on the basis on the wild species. So one can always take any article from anywhere, it has to be brought into the classroom what they see around them. There can be a sale offer which can be compared, they can always talk about brands which children really love, that this brand has this offer, this brand has this, so what is better, is it 50% better or 40 plus 10% better, and which one and why? So let them be answering it. And there can be board games, sir. There can be beautiful board games prepared with problem cards. They have to solve the problem and the dice will keep moving forward. So there's a lot of room for creativity and engagement in mathematics per se, which we all have to work together so that teachers start including the children in the class. Because if we see the learning pyramid, the top level of learning is when the children are in the ability to explain to their classmate, that is the point where they learn the maximum. So peer mentoring, so these things are missing. So engaging pedagogies are missing from the mathematics class. It's just taken as a drill, you have to practice. And if you're not practicing, you will not get it. But the logic is not explained. Why this formula? Right. Why is it here? What are the units? Why we are changing the units? Did we change it for solving, for making it easy for us? And now we have to convert it back because answer is required in that units. So there has to be logic and explanation. So when we connect it with real life and when the teachers are trained well, motivated well, kaha jata hai, sir, if you know the answer to why, how becomes very easy. अगर आपको पता है आप मैथ्स के टीचर क्यों हो और आप बच्चों को मैथ्स क्यों पढ़ा रहे हो, तो उसका हाउ बड़ा ही आसान हो जाता है. आप 100 तरीके ढूंढ लेते हो कि मुझे ये कराना है, because you know about why. तो why का आंसर pedagogical leaders जो हमारे टीचर्स हैं क्लासरूम में, अगर वो जान जाएं तो वो हाउ बहुत अच्छे से निकाल लेंगे. They'll dig out wonderful ways of how to teach mathematics. And we are so fortunate to be in this Google era where we all are enrolled with Google University, wonderful YouTube videos, TED Talks, wonderful methods we can learn each day. Diksha portal is there, full of wonderful teaching methodologies, gamification, game-based, problem-based, flipped learning. So many are there, sir. Competency-based, art integration. So it's all about intent. So we'll have to start with the intent to make this subject more interesting rather than challenging.
Absolutely right, ma'am. Nirmal sir, I hope you have heard the ABCDE of mathematics right now. So we'll be needing your answer of ABCDE all.
Absolutely.
All please, if you have not noted, so she can tell in short again about ABCDE. So
I was listening very, very intently.
Yes, sir, because you are an expert, but you are in that cage also, that category, what you say it in the adalat, that you have to answer all these questions. So you have to answer this, sir, for sure. Please remember. We'll come up to the. Thank you so much, Monica, ma'am, for giving us such enlightening views about your about this. Thank you so much. We'll come up to Farzana, ma'am. Farzana, ma'am, we'd like to know your views that it is often seen that mathematics is regarded as the most difficult subject, especially during the middle school. According to you, how these misconceptions can be removed?
It's actually the most relevant question when we talk of mathematics, and I strongly agree with what Monica ma'am has already discussed. She has already set the stage, and discussed in very concise form. She has touched upon to what other speakers are going to say. Mathematics, as ma'am said, the children, they actually carry the baggage, forward of all the unclear concepts. And before I speak about children or why they find maths difficult, because this is one subject which is actually challenging. If we remember our school lives, I don't think out of all the 5 over here, HP sir has gone. I think he was an expert in maths. But still, if you ask me, yes, I was a good student. I scored well. But if you say, do you like maths? I still can calculate before what calculator gives. That is my interest. But if you say, if you like math, sitting, solving the sums step by step, getting the answers, and then teachers do not talk about the relation to the real life context. They teach subject in the form of subject, in the form of maths content for the exams. That has to be a big no with this new NEP 2020 when we are talking of experiential learning, when we are talking of competency based lesson plannings and assessments, then it has to be a big no. This is one of the reasons that the subject is taught more theoretically, I'll say theory based and teacher centric, which makes this subject a bit boring for the children who have different learning styles. Because we need to understand the student first. We need to know or have the knowledge of the content that we are going to deliver. And we also need to know our instructional practices that we are going to follow, keeping in mind the student and keeping in mind the content that we are going to deliver. So you have to make that whole experience a real delightful one for the children who are sitting there in front of you, not a boring experience for them. So there are certain reasons, because see, teaching is something more than common sense. So everyone cannot be a good teacher, and everyone cannot create that, a very interesting and joyful learning environment for the children. So you have to create that context, an environment wherein child feels like participating. So the classrooms have to be very engaging. Your lesson planning with an integrated approach has to be competency based, because one, yes, competencies of 21st century skills, which talk about reasoning, analytical skills, logical thinking, and n number of exploration and all. But then, yes, subject specific skills also. And the most important thing is related, tell the real life worth of this subject. Once they start understanding, they see maths around them. The way we used to say, science is fun, science is around you. In the same way, right from early years, teacher relate the subject, take this teaching and learning TLPs outside the classroom walls, and make them understand how to think logically, how to do computational thinking and decoding in terms of learning the concepts of maths. I think they'll find this subject interesting, which is not happening, to be very true, sad, but true, that it's still not happening in 90% schools, even after NEP has come. So I think this is still carrying on. Children are still carrying on with the phobia, with the maths anxiety. And yes, they actually get bored when they are solving the sum step by step and still not reaching the answers, because they get stuck somewhere in between due to lack of due to lack of concept clarity. So now,
Absolutely right, ma'am. Absolutely right, ma'am.
Yes, teachers have to be more proficient. Teachers need to empower and enrich themselves to make their teaching process highly interesting, because we are dealing with Googlers. We are not having traditional classrooms anymore. So it has to be blended learning with so much of gamification, so much of online tools available, easily available and accessible, but then teach them how to comprehend. And yes, language plays a very important role, be it maths or be it any other subject. So this is what I say.
Absolutely right, ma'am. 90% children still have problems with mathematics. The 3-4 toppers in the class, the rest is average or below average. This is happening with all the subjects. And I think mathematics is everywhere in the life. If even you're cooking also, you have to be, you have to calculate at how much water and how much of this, cereals have to be added. Everywhere mathematics is needed. If mathematics is not there, we always have a problem for sure. But for solving that problem, Nirmal sir is over there. He'll help us. He'll tell us about how it is helping out. And at the very same time, ma'am, you are very right that you can calculate before the, as before the calculator calculates. But that concept, that formula-based thinking and all stepwise, you won't be able to do. So that is a big problem. You see, when a greengrocer or any vendor is coming up into the lane and you are asking him for different quantities, 1 kg of this and half kg of this, 250 grams of this, within seconds, he's illiterate. Within seconds, he'll tell you how much money you have to pay. Logical, logical, he's doing it that, but at the very same time, you're giving it in a, word problem to a child. So he will just start, using the formulas. I remember only one formula, although I had till class 12th, I had mathematics, but I don't remember. It was long back ago. So a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab.
Just 2AB.
But why? But why? Now this why is being not solved. Why we are using this? What is the short form of this? Why are using this formula? Why is a square plus b square is equal to this? So this why is not being clear to the students. At the very same time, the children, the teachers also saying that we have, so many exercises, so many chapters. We have 40 minutes class. So this thing is going on, this is happening. And at the very same time, this is being told by the teachers also. What can we do for that? What can we do for that? How can we go up into the classes? How many periods we can get in the classes? And as a principals also, we can give 8 to 10 periods in a week, but not more than that. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to add that actually, be it maths or be it any other subject, teachers do not talk to the students about the significance of studying that subject, how it's going to help them in real life situations. If you start talking in those terms, interest will be generated anyhow. You'll find them,
absolutely right, ma'am.
Being self-motivated, because be it maths, it was because it's as a STEM subject, it offers you better job opportunities in this digital world, data science world. If you see everything related to softwares, if you talk about, it's all about STEM and now STEAM. Basically, art integration is also there. Better money management. That is one thing which everyone should know, just like an adult or as a child, because you have to deal with money anytime and every time in your life. Then computational skills, as you said, even when we are cooking, we need to know the ratio and the steps to do things. So it's nothing. These terms are not big terms. This is something which we do on everyday basis. So we need to make the child learn to think logically and then, reason correctly and accurately. And yes, then they become good problem solvers, the way Nirmal Shah sir is there.
Of course, ma'am, because the students, they love the students, they love the teacher. They love the teacher because they love the subject also, and they remember it throughout their life. The love and affection only comes up when the teacher is very clear about the subject and he is able to make them understand that. Like my subject had been accountancy, and it comes in grade 11. When it comes up after so many years, in the last 2 years of the child, so that is a big fear for the commerce students, that accounts is going to a very difficult subject. The first question they used to put me is, sir, is accountancy difficult? I used to tell them, sir, this is the easiest subject, beta. See, maths and accountancy, they are the easiest subject. For every question, the answer is different, but there are certain logics in every chapter, and every logic, this logic will apply in the whole of the chapter. So which is much easier, sir? Account may be easier, but don't talk about mathematics, sir. We have a lot of problems. I had seen my students in grade 11th and 12th. They're struggling with mathematics. They have taken mathematics with commerce, but they have been struggling with mathematics just for the reason because the concepts are not clear. This happens, but why this happens, this is not being clear to the students. So that practical approach has to be taken for sure. A child-oriented class should be there, which Nirmal sir will also make it more clear about that. We'll come up to Mitushi ma'am. Mitushi ma'am, you also tell us your views on the saying that, that mathematics, about the same ma'am, which Pradhana ma'am has talked about, how this misconcept can be removed, according to you.
So first thing is that for everything, so what we don't know in this world, we have a prior knowledge. जैसे किसी भी चीज के लिए हमारे पास prior knowledge होती है. Sir, if you talk about maths, you will hear in all the families. Most certainly, ये बहुत गलत notion है. I have seen people, those who talk in affirmation, sir. I can do it. It is possible. Now, this is very in thing. I can, I am powerful, I am good. Sir, but in that families also it is said, पढ़ नहीं रहे हो, बड़े हो गए तो मैथ्स में देखना लुढ़क जाओगे या मैथ्स से बच के रहो. So why are we putting a wrong notion in a child's mind? Sir, when you say the word which you have used, misconception. So what is that word? Being an English person, I can say any illogical thing, any prior knowledge that is not related to it, but it has been feeded. That is a misconception. So, sir, from early childhood years, what are we doing? Maths is dangerous. Maths mein, sir, even the maths teacher, if you see, she'll always say, ये maths का period है, ये कोई और period नहीं है. I always check my teachers. During my HM period also, I used to say, you people are equally putting that fear of maths. Sir, since for a class 1 child, for a KG child, whether it is maths, anything is equally difficult and equally easy. It is the treatment which parents and teachers give together to a subject that also matters a lot. Sir, when we know, sir, like if you go to hills, you ask a hill person, कितनी दूर और चलना है? He will never say 4 किलोमीटर है, थोड़ा आगे है. एंड सर बाद में लोग बोलते हैं ये पहाड़ वालों के चक्कर में नहीं पड़ना चाहिए, चलाते ही चले जाते हैं. बट सर यू वॉक, यू अचीव, यू क्लाइंब. इट इज सिमिलरली इन लाइफ ऑल्सो सर. मैथ्स को एक फियर फैक्टर जो देखा जाता है फ्रॉम अर्ली एजेस, वी हैव टू ब्रेक दैट नोशन. काउंसलिंग सेशंस शुड बी देयर फॉर द पेरेंट, फॉर जो पेरेंट्स बनते हैं, लाइक वी से नेटल क्लासेस. सर इन इंडिया आई थिंक नाउ वी रिक्वायर मैथ्स क्लासेस ऑल्सो. इफ आई एम फियरिंग मैथ्स, the same I'm going to put into my child also. I'll be so like कहते नहीं सर, we'll be so panicked that कहीं ना कहीं वो बच्चे में आ जाता है, या तो वो बहुत अच्छा हो जाता है मैथ्स में सर, या डिबैकल कर जाता है, बीच का रास्ता वो नहीं पकड़ता है. So I started my career from nursery. So sir, you won't believe, 20 years back I used to say, mothers बोलती थी इसकी मैथ्स अच्छी है ना, I used to say क्या फर्क पड़ता है. Like when you are a school going child, when you are a beginner, it is overall package what matters. But sir, definitely English, maths, or sometimes like physics also, you will see parents talking to you, sir chemistry bio to kar lega, physics kaise karega, wo maths based hai. So the fear, this fear factor should be broken. And secondly sir, as Pazana ma'am said, as Monica ma'am said, I definitely same points are there. Love for the subject, plus we need to have capable teachers. So capacity building workshops are must for maths teachers. So English or anything you can learn, you can imbibe. I've seen people who are not able to speak English at all, with the influence, with the societal changes, with the background they are moving, or with the, I should say, with the group of people. So, but maths is not that thing. So capacity building workshops for maths is a must thing. People should work for their own and for their child's. Same follows for the teacher. Usually, sir, teacher is only and only bothered about the good children. And फिर कितने backbenchers हैं, the mediocres, it is always left, sir. There is a scope to improve them. So I'll put my voice to rest because much has been said by them. Again, I say the same thing, that fear psychosis is the most important thing, sir. I am afraid of maths. I cannot do maths. Maths is tough. So that thing has to be taken out and something should be done for that. Even ma'am is the resource person for CBSE and you people are all towards various things. So I'll just request you, this should be a thing that should be taken very, very seriously, sir.
Absolutely right, ma'am. Mitushi ma'am, wonderful thoughts you have. You have brought about the, the reality of the mathematics. The fear of the society is altogether is there. All the stakeholders, they make a pressure on the students, on the children, the parents, the school teacher, the tuition teacher, and the uncle and aunties, everyone, they are having pressure. No maths, so it's a very difficult. Maths to karni padegi. Maths is very difficult. Maths is very difficult means now it will become, of course, difficult. My son is in grade, the younger one, he is in grade 9. So the mother keeps on saying maths. I said, don't be after him. Let him do as he is doing. He was doing before pandemic very good. Again, he'll come up to the same level. But if we'll keep on saying to him the same thing again and again, that pressure will be there. He won't take that. Why maths is so difficult? It is as equal to the other subjects. So this thing, the concept, the first entrance gate will become so heavy. How will the child be able to enter into that? That is more important. And at the very same time, ma'am, Mitushi ma'am, Monica ma'am, and Pradhana ma'am, now these tools which were not at our time, now they have come up with these technologies. Of course, Nirmal Shah sir says that teacher cannot remove that physical, that emotional touch is needed, will always be needed in India for sure. But these are the tools which are helping the kids. Anytime when they are not able to, solve their problems, they're not able to ask to the teachers. When they are going up at their home, at their comfort, anytime, they can go into these type of apps and they can find out we'll talk to Nirmal sir after this also, that they can go up to app one to one, one to one, that things goes on. The exercise is over there, the questions are over there, the topic which is being done in the school today, I wasn't able to understand. Now I'm at my home at 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock at night. I'm ready to see that. So that one to one when conversation is over there, he tries to understand what the concepts are, he clears his concepts. So when he's coming back again next day to the school, his concepts are cleared and he's up to the level. There will be no two or three toppers in the class. All the 40 will be the toppers for. So this is what we are aiming at. When you're coming up to English, we were talking about Farzana ma'am and all. We were talking about English, how this can be, because roots we are talking, not talking about language learning. That sir also said that English is also very important. At the very same time, when we won't work from the root about the mathematics also, how we want board results. They are coming from the root. The basic classes are more important than the board class. Whatever base they are getting, that will get the result from 10th and 12th also. So we are working on 10th and 12th, 9 to 12th. We're not working on the basics. So when we'll work on the basics, on the very basic, when they'll be doing good, our fear will be removed, that will be getting a very good result. So this is about mathematics also, that there are now these AI based type of concepts have come, these type of apps have come, like Nirmal also came into, took up this courage to come into the mathematics as according to the other principles also. They also came into the other sessions, also said, this is a wonderful thing you have brought on. They have also started using this concept when they came up in the show and talked to Nirmal sir. And they're also giving me the feedback that yes, this is helping to the students and the teachers, and it is not removing the role of the teachers from there. That is very important. Nirmal sir, over to you now. Please, I also get emotional when it comes to mathematics because it's a very big problem, like Mitushi ma'am and Monica ma'am and Farzana ma'am said. Sir, please tell us that the first important thing, first of all, that about concept Monica ma'am have talked about and Farzana ma'am and Mitushi ma'am talked about ABCDE. Then there was a learning gap of 2 years that Google Baba had helped the 2 years for the students solving all the papers, either through Google's or their, all their friendship, that groups, they were passing on the answers. Everything will be covered up, the science and SST and, other subjects will be covered up. But what about the learning gaps? How are these learning gaps being covered? Like my child is in grade 8 right now. He did not study properly mathematics in 6 and 7. How this is going to be covered up in your app? First, your expert views and about Monica ma'am's ABCDE. Over to you, sir.
So, very interestingly, I mean, Monica ma'am almost covered everything, right, with that ABCD, whatever we talk about in these sessions and even in the earlier sessions, that these are the typical problems that the child, or let's say that the whole teaching learning process faces, right? It's not just the child alone, but all the stakeholders together. And we have to be able to handle each of these problems. Now, some of them can be handled by technology, some of them can be handled by process, and some of them have to be handled by the people who are executing that process, which is the teachers and the educators, right? So all of them put together have to be actually working on solving this problem. NEP, तो it is like at a very high level they have said everything, but जिनको करना है उनको करना है, and they are the ones who have to actually take it up and say that these are the various things which we will do in order to solve the problem. It should not again be that हमने NEP implement करने के लिए ये सब किया है, वो भी तो कोई problem solve कर रहा है, तो आपको problem solve करनी है, right? That should be the goal, rather than saying that I am doing this just to check one box which says okay NEP कर दिया, technology आ गई, gamification कर दिया. That's what should not be there. It should be that what is the issue that we are trying to solve. So going to these ABCDE, anxiety, very interesting. And this is what you also said, Chandok sir, कि बच्चे का यही होता है कि जो 4-5 बच्चे होते हैं आगे बैठने वाले, वो हमेशा सवाल पूछते हैं, वो हमेशा हाथ ऊपर करते हैं. पीछे बैठने वाले हैं, उनको टीचर पूछती है, right? So they are the two who are always covered, and it's the middle ones who are not getting covered, right? These are the average students, and this is what Mitushi ma'am also brought up कि जो बैक बेंचर्स हैं वो किसी तरीके से बैक बेंचर ही रहेंगे लेकिन कवर हो जाते हैं. फ्रंट बेंचर्स तो हमेशा कवर्ड ही है. What about the average students? And I think that all this ABCDE is actually majorly faced by these average students. The backbenchers don't care. Okay. The front benchers are beyond this already, but it's these average students who face these problems. So let's talk about anxiety. Anxiety is because one, they are not able to solve problems. Two, they are afraid of asking questions in the class. Three, they are afraid of being ridiculed in the class by their own friends or by the teacher. Right? So where we bring in this technology, they are learning on their own. One, they are learning at their own pace. So that means that if they are slow, nobody is saying कि तुम तो पीछे रह गए. They are slow, doesn't matter. The app does not get tired, right? The teacher gets tired कि तुम घड़ी घड़ी यही सवाल क्यों पूछ रहे हो, तुमको क्या समझ में नहीं आया. The impatience starts to come in. But technology does not get impatient. You don't understand, we will explain again. You don't understand again, we will explain it to you again. And we keep doing that. So that way we help the child feel that there is always somebody to help you. And that's the way you kind of, help them overcome that anxiety, right? The second part is the baggage of the unaddressed, all the concepts which they have not learned. And this also ties in with the question that you asked, ki 2 saal ki learning gap ka kya, right? Because now they are carrying this baggage from the last 2 years. They have not learned, well at least, and they think that they have learned. तो वो एक false confidence भी है कि हमने तो सीख लिया क्योंकि मार्क तो बहुत अच्छा है. Right? So how do we help them address that? So for example, one of the things that we do in the app is that we do what we call a cycle of assessment and learning. So we do a formative assessment for every concept. So we have broken down the whole, let's say if we take 6th grade, we have broken down the whole maths, all the chapters into almost 300 learning outcomes. And each of them are very, very short units. So now what we do is that we test the child on every learning outcome and say that if there is a learning gap with this, is it because of a skill or is it because of something they may not have learned in the previous class? So we link the previous year's learning outcomes with that and test them on that, and we go backwards. So that way we are able to identify कि ये problem कहाँ पे शुरू हुई है, and then we start giving them the lessons at that stage and not in the current, because current तो वो कितना repeat करेगा, अगर वो repeat भी करेगा तो they have not understood something which they should have learned previously. That is why they are stuck. So we cover that first and then help them move forward, right? So that helps them overcome that baggage wala issue. Third thing, which was challenge, right? Now, one is that learning is a challenge. The second is, I think that kids love challenge. Okay? One of the things, ma'am, aapne bhi comment kiya tha ki this monthly maths marathon that I have, right? Now, we keep doing these kind of competitions because they are challenging to the child. Right? They love this challenge because one is that there is a prize at the end of it, and there is always this spirit of competition कि मेरा friend कितना score कर रहा है, मैं क्या score कर रहा हूँ, कौन आगे निकल रहा है, all those kind of things. But also, I think that the challenge should be in a way that the child can overcome. So it should be just enough challenging कि थोड़ा difficult हो, लेकिन they should be able to overcome that, right? So if we do that, then that confidence always keeps building up. So, for example, what we do is that once we have done this formative assessment and we have identified what are the skill gaps, and if we identify that the child has a comprehension problem and a modeling problem and a calculation problem, we don't ask them comprehension questions at all. First, let's start at calculation. Let them get comfortable with number operations, right? We teach them that, then move forward to one level, then move up one level. So that way, it is a little bit challenging for the child. When they achieve it, they feel that they have achieved something that builds the confidence. At the same time, we are making sure that it is not too challenging कि बच्चा give up ही कर दे, right? That's the other problem, right? If it is too challenging, then they give up कि मेरे से तो नहीं होने वाला है. Parents भी बोल देते हैं कि तुमसे तो नहीं होने वाला है. सबने बोल दिया नहीं होने वाला है तो अब नहीं होगा. So instead of that, we say that let's give them something which they can achieve. Let them feel that मेरे से हो रहा है. Parents को भी दिखेगा कि अब मेरे बच्चे से हो रहा है. So this other comment that came up, that the parents are also creating this whole situation. That's the way to help the parents, right? In a way, we are helping the parents feel confident in their child. So then the next part is that this whole math phobia and how do we able to come up. So it's again coming up to the same thing, that once we make this enough challenging and make it in a way that the parents also start believing in the child, the teachers also start believing in the child, then they will definitely start moving forward. And finally, creating that whole enthusiasm and excitement is what technology can do very well, right? All this gamification that we bring in, points mil gaye, scores mil gaye, leaderboard ban gaya, these kind of competitions that we host all the time. All of this is what is actually creating that enthusiasm in the child. Now, one of the other things that we have done is something very interesting that we realized is that all children don't learn the same way, right? Farzana ma'am said this also. कि हर बच्चा एक तरीके से नहीं पढ़ता है. So how do we make them involved in the learning process? So instead of just giving the information and putting out a lot of videos, which is what actually kids do on YouTube, right? वो वीडियो देख लेते हैं, उनको लगता है हम सीख गए. Actually, they have not learned. They might have just felt at that point of time, but when you go back and ask them 2 hours later, you will realize that they have not learned it. So what we do is that we go in a question answer mode. So instead of just giving a topic straight away, we ask them a question. कि ये आपने ये देखा, आपने पिछले साल इसके बारे में क्या पढ़ा था, right? So we ask them to remember or recollect, or ask them to kind of align it with something else that they might have seen in their life. For example, if we say triangle, right, we show them a samosa and say, what does this shape look like? Does it look like a square? We show them the pictures, right? And then say, now you know that triangle means that there are 3 sides and it is a closed figure. So it's not just 3 sides, but it also has to be a closed figure. So those kind of things we start letting them discover, right? They feel that हम अपने आप से ये सीख रहे हैं, हम अपने आप से ये पता कर रहे हैं. So when they feel that, one is that enthusiasm always remains, that I'm learning, I'm figuring this out on my own, and they become self-learners. Now that's also a very important aspect, right? We want the children to become self-learners, so that at any point of time, if there are topics, if there are concepts which they do not have a teacher or which they do not have the support of their parents to learn, they can still learn and they have that confidence to learn. So the idea is that we start creating the self-learners out of this. So that is the ABCD of how technology can help. The other side, I think one more very interesting aspect which Farzana ma'am brought up is how do we, and I liked it very much because she took up the specific names that we are doing. For example, she said they have to know money management. And if you see here on my screen, I'm talking about financial literacy for middle school children. We are doing courses on data science for middle school children. Now, why we say middle school? Because we link it with what they are learning in middle school. They learn compound interest. We show them that when you take the interest every quarter and compound it, you get more interest, whereas you take it every year, you get less interest, or simple interest. So these are the things they don't learn in school, right? They just learn the formula. Now, how do we actually get the smartness to use this in your life? That's what matters. So we have created this whole course around financial literacy just for this, how to do budgeting, how to adjust when you are running short of money. How do you see these offers? कोई बोलता है कि cashback 15% up to 40 rupees. So, you get excited by 15%, but you realize that आपको तो 40 रुपए cashback आया. Right? So आपने 1000 रुपए की चीज खरीदी and you got only 40 bucks back. So these are the kind of things which kids should learn and know, right? These are the things which you've learned in school. आपने percentages सीखे हैं, but you have to apply this in your real life. Data science में अब probability use होती है, statistics use होता है. So why can't we link that, all the data handling that they learn, we can link it with actual content. So we are creating all this content for them so that they can see how it is applied and they can start thinking on those lines as well. So I hope
that's amazing. Quite a good answer, sir. We are quite satisfied with this because mathematics you are talking about so much, or none of us have so much knowledge about mathematics as you have, sir. And all the ABC.
Sir, I'll just interrupt 1 second, sir.
Yeah.
If you see all of this, it is not about mathematics at all, right? This is about giving the child the right learning tools.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, the other side, I'm sure I'll talk about it as well. But that how do we help the teacher also become integrated in this whole thing so that it becomes truly blended? But the idea is that how do we ensure that the child's anxiety is taken care of, confidence is built? This has got absolutely nothing to do with mathematics. It is just about how we are doing it.
Sir, I remember you gave an example also earlier in the episode, in one of the episodes, that a grade 8 teacher was not able to solve the problem of grade 6.
Correct.
Please let us know about that.
So this, I told in the beginning as well, this is what we had seen, right? That when we did this assessment pilot, when we were starting off, the principals asked us to do the assessments of the teachers as well. And one of the things which came out is that the grade 8 teacher called me and said, ये तो 6th grade का problem है. I teach 8th grade, so these are not my topics. I don't know how to solve this problem. So that should, of course, not be the case, right? Now to go back to this, how do we then help the teachers? That's the other important aspect of it. Because when we help the child so much, then the teachers also start feeling alienated. ये तो सब तुम ही कर रहे हो, तो मैं क्या करूं? Then I might as well sit in the staff room and enjoy my cup of tea. So that's not the case, right? So for example, what we have done is that now we have integrated this with what we call as a homework platform. Very simple. All the teachers have to do is they go and give a homework on their counting will login, so to speak, right? And the child will see the specific assignment. It can be just 10 or 15 questions. When the child does the homework, we automatically do the formative assessment of the child using the answers which the child has given. Now the teacher will see what are the learning gaps. Each child or the all the children in the class, what are the gaps that they have faced, all the way down to every individual learning outcome that they are supposed to deliver for that concept within a chapter. So each chapter itself, we can break it down into almost 15, 20 learning outcomes, right? And now we are able to show them which learning outcome has been met, which has not been met, which problems the children are able to solve properly, which ones they are not able to solve. So next day in the class, I mean, you don't have to wait for end of the term to go to the exam to find out that this chapter, the class did not learn very well. Halfway in the chapter, you give this assessment, you already know how the children are doing, and you can intervene right there. आप remedial वहीं पे दे सकते हो. In the app itself, we give a remedial. So first level remedial happens in the learning part of the app itself. We give the solution, we explain what is right, what is wrong, but then the teacher also now starts to know which learning outcomes are not being met. So all this talk that we have, ultimately it has to be driven by learning outcome, not by completion of syllabus, not by marks scored, right? What is the outcome which we have got? We are able to show that to the teacher and to the administration, and based on that, now the teacher can start making the decision as to what remedial has to be given.
And the very good thing, sir, I also remember Mitushi, man, I think she said that 1.5 month we have vacations. The 1.5 month, these days, 50 days or whatever it is, the student is not solving anything, but homework has been given. He or she will copy from someone and give it to in the school when they are back. But now with the help of these type of apps, anytime the work can be given to the students, they enjoy it. Especially we have seen they don't try to read. Now we have given them gadgets. In these 2 years, they have got fond of gadgets. They want to do it on this only. So they will do the learning through these type of through the gadgets, and this learning will be continued throughout the year. That is very important thing, because physically when we are doing it, around 2 months they are not studying at all in these 12 months. So that is also very important. Very easy also, that with the app the teacher can keep on giving the assessment to the students every time during the vacations also, and the students will also enjoy when they are working up in their mobiles or laptops, for sure. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. We'll come up to the next one. Very interesting topic. You need so much time. The full day time you can talk about that. We'll come up to the next round. Monica, ma'am, we'll come up to you. Please suggest few ways in which teacher can make maths more interesting. Very precise answer, ma'am. You're on mute, ma'am.
Sir, put a condition precise.
I'm sorry, ma'am. We have shortage of time also.
No worries, sir. I'll just try to be as quick as possible. Sir, actually, what we feel that each teacher standing in a class should first have the reality check. Where my children stand, who knows how much? If I'm starting this topic, what is the previous knowledge? And how to check that is most important. If they don't have the concepts clear in their mind, they won't be able to receive what teacher is delivering. So her whole period or further deliveries are a waste or a futile exercise. So we have to first go for a diagnostic test, which is step A for any teacher. What sir has also rightly said, what we have done in our school post-pandemic for all subjects, we have laid out the list of concepts and sub-concepts as per the chapters, and just one test item opposite each concept and sub-concept, just one test item. And that test item we have reviewed again and again as teams, with the HOD, with the subject teachers and myself for every subject, so that we ensure that this test item is perfect to check whether the child has understood or not. And then just mark it and just have a graphical data that which question, how many have answered right or how many have answered wrong. Because we want to see which are the concepts which are not received by 50% or more than that students in a class. So that means those concepts have to be retaught. So first is preparing a diagnostic tool, then conducting that test, and then going for conclusion or diagnosing the results, where we stand, and then remedial measures, how we have to start teaching those concepts again, which sir is offering us, without much effort. He is providing us in the app. The remedial worksheets are available, but here we had tried working it at our own level. But most importantly, I think it was touched by one of the panelists that positive reinforcement is very important to make them believe in their capabilities towards math. The positive mindset is very important. So sir had given a good idea that we should start giving them testing tools which they can easily solve and achieve, so that they go back home as achievers, at least for a couple of days. And they feel, yes, maths I can do. It's my cup of tea. I can't say it's not my cup of tea. And post that building of motivation, they can easily be taken forward for the further concepts. So positive reinforcement first is diagnostic tests, sir. Second is positive reinforcement. Third is application of mathematics in real life. We have to connect in every chapter, because I told you that teachers must have the answer to why are they teaching in this class 8th? What is the relevance of this in their lives? How it's going to help them to be a more aware citizens. So that is something which is very important. Then teaching it through art lessons is something which really brings lot of enthusiasm among students when they are going to the courts, taking the measurements of the courts and trying to find out if this is the space given and we have to create something of this kind, what ratio proportion is going to work. Can we have a smaller one for juniors classes, in this area? So we can give assignments of this kind for which we outsource our other agencies and, take their expert advice. Children can very well do it with great ease, and they really enjoy doing such activities. And then, sir, using guided maths to make maths more easy, that is, in identifying the capabilities of the classroom, forming groups according to the capabilities, and then giving them tasks as per their capabilities so that they hone their skills at least in each level where they are lacking. So when they sail together as a team, they are able to do better. And as I told you, peer mentoring is a wonderful formula, sir. We do claim we are doing peer mentoring, but at times it's not in the right spirit. We need to believe in this methodology that peer mentoring is a great tool, and then start felicitating the teams which are doing very well. We have seen children who are working hard day in and day out just to prepare good exercises for their partner so that he can score well, and the child can be, can claim the title of being a good peer mentor, and the other one a good peer mentee. So we have to just, upgrade our own programs in a manner. We have to just take out too much out of it, because they actually can give good results if implemented in the right spirit. As I told you, intent, implement and impact. इंटेंट क्या है peer mentoring के पीछे, इम्प्लीमेंट कैसे किया जा रहा है, उसी के ऊपर डिपेंड करेगा कि वो इम्पैक्ट कितना लाएगा आपकी क्लासरूम में. और whole class math games, of course, is a wonderful method which we have been using from last 2 years, even during pandemic, and we found amazing results. So it's all about hooking the children with the teacher. What is happening? What are the ways of solving these kinds of problems? So when they are doing it in the form of a game, it becomes more interesting. And then, of course, technological tools sir has brought for us. So that is something which is now empowering all the educators across the globe. And we are therefore very positive now that because of the talk shows like this, because of good trainings which CBSE is provided, and because of the tools like Nirmal sir is here with, I'm sure we all are going to connect with him after the talk show and are going to ask him how he can help us, because, this will save teachers time. Otherwise, teachers will have to, discover, dig deep and find out what is suiting their topics. Here it is a curated program which can be customized. The best part is it can be customized, as sir was telling. So that's something which will really help us. And we would like to integrate our classroom teaching learning process with the technology for sure. And that's all from my side, sir. But I feel it all depends upon the teacher or the pedagogue standing in the classroom, how impressed she is with the kind of work she is doing, and how motivated she is to bring that love and charm in the eyes of the child also for her subject. So the story starts from there and ends there, sir, according to me.
Absolutely right, ma'am. You have given the gist of all the things which are needed. And at the very same time, won't criticize all the teachers, but this has to be implemented. The direct dealing is with the teachers. The students are dealing with the teachers. Are the teachers doing it regularly, whatever you are saying or we are talking about? There should be a certain, format. There should be, a system which comes into a system, you are there or not, this will going to happen. So yes,
consistency, the word is consistency. We need to be consistent in our efforts. And that's only possible if we create a culture of that kind in our school, where we are sitting together and trying to design new testing items for the maths paper.
Yes, ma'am. As a principal, I also feel that many times you are able to deal with the parents, you are able to deal with the management, you are able to deal with the students. But when it comes to the teachers, many a time there are problems, because once you are looking into it, they're doing the things, but afterwards again they come up to the same routine. So when something comes into the routine, in a simple language, you can say, like when we are talking about, say, we are talking about counting well. If this is being put into the system, every time you will be asking for, what is the report of the students? How have they done in their assessments, which have been given to them offline and online by the app? How they did. So this is what is happening, is that it comes into a process that they have to do it. If you have seen that side, they won't remove that. I mean, you can understand what I want to say. It is into the routine. It's not only about one subject only, it's about all the subjects when it comes into the system. So it will be helpful. Of course, all these things have to be done. And now, because technology has come into being and apps like Counting Well, they are helping up the students for that. It is very good that it comes into the system. I'm talking about the positive side. Whatever you are saying, or we all are saying, that can be implemented through these type of tools, which will for sure help the students as well as teachers. It is also, lessening down the burden of the teachers also. So many exercises are there, and so many there, 40 students in a 40 minutes class. How we can do this, how we can do that? Practically they say it is not possible. So these type of tools, they help us, they help the students also, and thanks to the technology, and thanks to Nirbhar sir also, that these people they have come up with these type of maths app. And the very most important thing is he's providing, I hope sir I'm right sir, you are providing it free to the schools right now.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
अब ये तो नहीं है दूसरी कंपनीज की तरह बाद में फिर चार्ज करना चालू कर दे, something like that.
No, sir. What we are promising the schools is that whichever school signs up this year, this academic year, it is free for life.
Oh, that's great. We'll talk about the 20 minutes concept also when it come up to your part, sir. Thank you so much, Monica ma'am. We'll come up to Farzana ma'am. Farzana ma'am, it is often seen that children learn mathematics instead of understanding it. So what are your suggestions to the teachers who are teaching them? How should they teach? Ma'am, you're on mute.
One point which I was emphasizing before also, because it has to start from the teacher, as Monica ma'am has just mentioned, that pedagogue has to be well equipped with all the knowledge, with good understanding of the students who are sitting there, to know them, to know their previous knowledge, and then design instructional practices in the most interesting way that interests the students and brings them towards the learning and keep them engaged. So it's very easy to say, but yes, teachers have to dig deep, as Monica ma'am has just mentioned, explore and come up with innovative and creative ideas so as to engage the children and work towards concept clarity, because this is one thing which goes missing. So we have to first work on the teachers. So Nirmal sir, do something for enrichment and to enhance proficiency of teachers who are taking mathematics. Parallelly, what you have designed for the children in the same way, because as you have just mentioned that 8th class teacher denied solving the sum which was of class 6 standard, saying that it's out of course for her, we can use this word. But if you design, suppose for class 6, this is the whatever content you have designed in your software or in your app for the children, in the same way, is the teacher well prepared? Design something of that sort, for which the reporting is given to the principal or the head of the school every month. The way we see the progress report in the graphical form for the children, and know their learning gaps, and then based on those gaps design remedials. Some similar thing in the same app, if you design for the teachers to know their potential and proficiency, I think that will be wonderful, and schools will be more than happy to do it, because somewhere we as teachers are lacking. Let me tell you, we are unable to identify the gaps and work on it with patience. As you said, teachers become impatient. App does not.
Sure, that's absolutely right, ma'am.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, definitely. This is very good idea.
Teachers give excuses of finishing the syllabus. So we need to understand first why we are teaching this subject, mathematics. If teachers understand that and its relevance and its significance in real life context, then they will certainly change their pedagogies and they will design, some innovative instructional practices, which I think you have already done, but please do it for the teachers as well, so that both the learnings and both the progress has to go hand in hand together. Because if you are working on students, maybe they start pressurizing students just because school head is getting the reports of this app.
Right.
So that may become a, threatened environment for the children more, so that they are forced to do it and complete the task on time, or they have to continuously practice to show that yes, they are using the app or doing the assignment the teacher is sending them. I want the same thing to happen with the teachers, so that for every subject, be it maths or be it another thing, because I start working with the teachers, I start working with the way they think, by motivating them to feel actually that teaching is not just teaching the subject, teaching is teaching the child, and that
Right.
teaching the child will prepare the child for life.
Ma'am, I'll say Nirmal said to contact you after the session anytime, and he will tell you in detail about the things and all. And ma'am has a very good network, sir. And if she's satisfied, we all are satisfied then. For
Yeah,
sure, sir.
definitely, I will do that. But also, I will definitely contact you, ma'am, to get into this, how we can help the teachers. I mean, I get your point, and I would definitely want to work on that.
I'll tell you one very small example. Time, I think it's already 7:03.
No problem, ma'am.
Here I'll tell you, with all this ERP teams who visit the school, since long I have been using. But my question to everyone is, see, you make the pie graph for the school admissions, you show us the progress in terms of finance. I don't want all that. In your examination module, I make everyone customize a thing for me. I want pie graph for teachers' progress report. I want teachers' report. I do not want to look at students' report. If my teachers' report become good, on an average, the result improves in a subject, means it's satisfying. I do not want to look at those meritorious students in my subject, highest was this. I don't look at the highest. That can be a God-gifted child. I want to see the average result. How many children are standing above this percentage or this level, or where they were in the beginning of the session, and with your efforts, after 6 months in your term and end examination, now teachers cannot give excuse that children were weak. Now 6 months they have spent with you, with your all the efforts that you have put in their teaching learning systems, what all you had the liberty to do everything. Now I want to see your progress report. I always tell my teachers, after the exam, even the smallest test, I say, you bring your report card. I don't want students' report card. Marks register and, software, those marks, I know everything. I want just you come with your report card and we sit and discuss and come up with something new. So this is actually important. And in one of the schools, I had made it a point, we used to display in the staff room softboard all teachers' report cards on the staff room softboard, just to keep them motivated for the next. It was nothing to insult or humiliate anyone, but yes, as a team, we have to work together. See, we still are here, we can go move this way. So it is all collaborative effort, but yes, teachers have to be worked upon first, and the impact will pass on to the students because they impact students' learning.
Yeah, that's great, ma'am. Monica, ma'am, you wanted to say something?
Just one point, sir. I'm really, I second the thought of Farzana ma'am, and would just like to suggest that we do it department wise, training need analysis we have to conduct to find out where the teachers are lacking. Is it the examination rubrics? Is it the teaching learning methods? So we just have professional upgradation, program, which has a presentation part, which has a formulating testing tools, which is evaluating an answer sheet. So it's all standardized. So I can share with it later on with ma'am, but we try to conduct it annually, and we try to find out where the teachers actually need help, and then we organize our training programs based on that. So that is a kind of motivation for teachers that yes, we have to perform well in this annual training module, or maybe upgradation module. So that's one way, ma'am, we are doing. So just wanted to share.
Sure.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Prathana, ma'am. Wonderful. We need to check out the teachers report instead of kids report, because if they are progressing, children will, of course, they will progress themselves for sure. I've started up with the teacher of the month, giving them a printed mug with their name and school logo on that, and in front of the whole assembly. So that is a small initiative I have started up in my school, to motivate. Now there's a struggle between the teachers. I want to do much better. So let's see if it is good or not. Thank you so much, Fazana ma'am and Monica ma'am. We'll come up to Mitushi ma'am. Mutushi ma'am, you also please give the suggestions according to you to the teachers and how can they improve the maths learning, understanding actually.
Sir, upgradation, as Fazana ma'am said, as Monica ma'am is saying, and even Nirmal sir says, directly he cannot say for teachers. I do understand. He talked about children only. But then definitely he mentioned that he 6 ka nahi aata hai, but I am a 8th class teacher. So we are human beings. We tend to forget things. It is not important that when I'm teaching class 8, maybe I'm losing my track for class 6 and 7. So very aptly, sir has brought this, and definitely what Fazana ma'am said. If the app can help teachers also, like in some way, that will be much more efficient. Without the demeaning thing, somehow we can put up that teachers, you also can upgrade. So because upgradation is what we all need, and now different workshops, even principals do attend. It is not that principal is sitting on the chair and she's just enjoying the cup of tea. When the top people cannot do, so it has to permeate from, it was said, from bottom to top. Now from top to bottom also, because I believe so many trainings, so many workshops, so many upgradations are required by the principals. UDIS hai, OSS hai, for everything the principals have to work. I definitely agree that with a team they work. But then, sir, there are some teachers, there are very good teachers also, there are average teachers also, and there are some teachers who believe, is zyada, I don't want to give. So they need to be brought out from their shell, sometimes with love, sometimes with motivation, and sometimes with some kind of you understand, some kind of, not punishment, but definitely some kind of thing that they understand that if we are in the system, we have to upgrade. So because again, it all starts what Monica ma'am said, it starts from teachers and it ends on teachers. A good teacher can definitely affect the eternity. We all have seen teachers, and we all remember one or two teachers, and it would be very good if they remember their maths teachers also. So
Thank you so much, Mitushi ma'am. Of course, you have given very good views on your topic. Thank you so much. Nirmal sir, will come up to you now. Please, your expert views on all the principals have said. And please just let us know more about your this counting well app, the 20 minutes concept also along with that, because children should not get adapted towards the gadgets and all for that purpose. Please.
Yes, sir. So, first of all, I think very interesting point that everybody kind of together brought up is that we have to be able to also look at the teacher's performance in context of the children's performance, right? Not on its own as well, but also in context of how the whole classroom is doing. And this is something which is a very good learning for me as well, because I think we have the data, but we don't look at the data in that way, right? We capture a lot of data as to how the children are performing. Now, if only we can link it with the teacher and say that this teacher, and this is the effect of what has been taught by this teacher, then that will be a great thing for even for the teacher herself, right? Forget that administration, but even the teacher will start to see the mirror कि कहाँ गलतियां हो रही है और कहाँ lacking है और उसे कैसे fill करना है. So definitely something which I would love to make it a part of the Counting Wells offering. So that's that. And the second part, what you brought up, sir, the 20-minute. So obviously, the other thing that we have seen, especially during the pandemic, is that kids have got used to using the gadgets a lot. Of course, they have been using it forever. Most kids use a phone much better than any of us are able to use it, right? They know exactly what to do before they can even start speaking. That's how they are. But we also realize that there has to be a certain limit to which they would use these kind of things, because they have to spend time playing, they have to spend time interacting with other people, they have to spend time doing other things as well. So how do we restrict that? So what I was mentioning during this session earlier is कि जैसे हमने we have broken down the chapter into almost 300 learning outcomes, or each class into nearly 300 learning outcomes. So because of that, now what we are able to do is that we are able to link the learning content of each of these learning outcomes at a very micro level. And by doing that, now what we are able to do is we are able to say that for achieving one learning outcome, you will have to spend about 5 to 7 minutes of learning, because we have broken it down into such small units that you don't really need to learn too much in one go. Right now, by doing that, the next step is that we combine 3 or 4 related learning outcomes, and in 20 minutes, you are actually able to learn something and move forward. So that way, now we are able to, we don't even have to tell the child कि तुमको ज़्यादा पढ़ना नहीं है, ये नहीं है, वो नहीं है. We just give them what we call a workout. It's a 20-minute workout. You finish learning and go. Within that 20 minutes, you have achieved a learning outcome and you have moved forward. At the same time, without making too much noise about it to the child or to anybody else, we have restricted the gadget time or the time that they spend on the device. Right? So that way we are balancing out कि वो लोग ज़्यादा time gadgets पे use नहीं करें. At the same time, they keep learning and achieving something.
That's great, sir. It's very good also, because many times it happens. Our teachers goes into the class and 3 to 4 exercises they explains in one period only, and so many concepts are together that students they get confused.
Sure.
And when a 20 minutes concept there, he goes up with 3 to 4 concepts or 5 concepts, normally, and that concepts are clear to him. When he coming up with the next day with the other concepts, they're not mixing up. That mixing up happens when it goes on with 3 to 4 exercises. When no exams are coming and tests are coming, I have to get my syllabus finished. I have to get. So many times, these type of complaints come from sometimes from the parents कि बहुत जल्दी से कराया जाता है, एकदम से 4 exercises एक साथ करा दी जाती है. So this is being removed, and every child is unique, sir, which everybody is saying, because when the parents are coming, my child is average in studies, he's below average. So I tell them why are not they average in this? In this they are expert. When why not in the studies? अगर वो below average होगा तो इसमें भी तो below average होगा. कहते हैं इसमें तो बहुत top class है. तो इसका मतलब ये है कि he's not taking interest in the studies. We have to create that interest, and that is very important. And this concept, we all are carrying up that these are the toppers and these are the middlers and these are the below average. None of the child is all the children actually they are toppers. But the only thing is how they are carried on. If they are below average or on average, we are the failures. We are not doing anything good, constructive for them. So these all things have to be added. And now technology has brought up so many things, the AI based. I think, sir, your counting well is also based on AI.
Yes, absolutely.
AI based
AI to determine what the learning gaps are and how to tailor the learning program for every child.
And they, of course, they are also not, Google, they can search everything, but they do not get. Many times when we are searching anything in the Google, we do not get the exact, exact idea of the things. And with the Google, they can go up into many other things which are not useful for them. But when they are getting these type of things which are constructive and organized way, like these type of apps are, the students, they are getting the right path. They are not going to the things. They are having gamifications and other things are over there. They are taking interest in that also. It is very true when they are trying to do it. When they are not able to do it once or twice or thrice or 4 times, it becomes a phobia. And after that, it goes into their mind that it's not my cup of tea. I will not be able to. So when at the very same time, when he's able to do with the help of these type of apps one-to-one, so there he gets the confidence. No, I can do that. It is possible for me. So this way, my positivity is that I believe that these type of apps, they help the students to improve without removing the role of the teachers. That is very important. And at the very same time, teacher is also able to know how is that 40 class student, the teacher is able to know that which concept is not clear to which side. But with these assessments also, the teacher is able to know where are the learning gaps, and he can help the students along in the extra classes or special classes. Or maybe he can give exercises in the app also that you go up with this, it will help you. So that, that upbringing of the child will be equal to all of them. And every child will be topper inside the class. Thank you so much, Nirmal sir, for that, for your presence over here and guiding us. And the very good thing you are doing is because after pandemic, the managements, they are not able to, spend money on the things, whichever level school it is. They're not able to do. And when you are providing this to the schools free of cost for such a long time, up to a certain level, that's very effective. This much of level is also very helpful to the students and teachers also. And of course, our guru, Farzana ma'am, will be checking over how this system, all over the system is. And I'll be taking again the feedback of that, how it is helping the students. Although my students are getting help with that for sure. Coming up to the last part, last 5 minutes, as you know, the culture of the show is that before parting, 2 lines have to be sung by every participant, and the person who comes for the first time has to sing first. And Monica ma'am, you have to sing 2 lines first before parting, because we should have good memories when we are parting. And of course, I will share the contact details with each other of you. that you should know each other, correcting each other. Ma'am, please.
Sir, can I just say a couplet if you don't mind?
Ma'am, that will be out of syllabus then.
I'm a naughty child asking for the question which I know the answer of. Let
That
me
will
know
go out of
which song
syllabus
you
now.
want me to sing, sir. Which song?
Any filmy, any religious, any patriotic, any Hindi, Punjabi, any regional language, anything you want, ma'am. Anything, any 2 lines. And it's compulsory for every participant.
Okay. So you all will be joining me, or I'll have to.
Ma'am, the other ladies will also be joining you. I am the host, ma'am. I am only there to moderate.
Okay. आदमी जो कहता है, आदमी जो सुनता है, जिंदगी भर वो सदाएं पीछा करती हैं। आदमी जो लेता है, आदमी जो देता है, जिंदगी भर वो दुआएं पीछा करती हैं। That's it.
Wonderful, 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 ma'am.
It was
Monica,
a tough test, sir. It was a tough test.
No, ma'am. I am talking to the Indian Idol people also that they should start up a show with the educationist only. Only the principals will be over there, and of course, your voice is somewhere you are going to go into the quarterfinals at least for sure. And there were many singers. There were many principals who have sung till now. They're going to the finals also. Like Farzana ma'am will also be going for sure. She's an all-rounder. Okay, we'll come up to Mitushi ma'am first. Mitushi ma'am, Farzana ma'am is senior. She'll sing after you.
This is the last time also.
I'll join you.
Last time also I told you it's सबसे difficult काम है मैं बेसुरी हूँ बिल्कुल.
But last time I told you that you have to sing the next time. So you might be ready for that also.
आपने गवाया था. So I'll sing a Pahadi song, a very common one. बेड़ पाको बारमासा नरना बारमासा काफल पाके चेता मेरी छैला हो मेरी छैला.
Ma'am, can you translate please? It was very good.
सर बेर जो होता है बेर 12 महीने उगता है, लेकिन एक प्रेमी अपनी प्रेमिका को बता रहा है कि काफल जो आपको नैनीताल में कुमाऊं में बहुत मिलता है वो सिर्फ चैत के महीने में होता है, तो वो बड़ा अनमोल है. आगे वो यही बताता कि मैं वो तुम्हारे लिए लेके आऊंगा.
अरे वेरी गुड मैम. उससे कहिए हमारे लिए भी ले आएगा मैम प्लीज. थैंक यू सो मच मितुषी मैम. फरजाना मैम, मैम यू आर द शो स्टॉपर मैम. तो आपको तो अच्छा सा गाना ही गाना है. आपको आता है कि आपको गाना और आपको अच्छा आता है. आई रिमेम्बर मैम. Should I take out the previous episode where you sang?
Nirmal sir is still left.
नहीं मैम, आप he is a gentleman मैम after the ladies.
अच्छा.
सर भी प्रिपेयर करके आई knows he has to sing.
I actually don't sing.
Last we also don't sing, ma'am.
We shall overcome. No, all together we had sung, if I remember.
See, ma'am, we तो निर्मल sir and me, we are all married. तो हमको तो शादी के बाद तो गाना आ ही गया है. तो but आपने भी सर के लिए कुछ कभी गाया होगा या सर ने आपके लिए कुछ गाया होगा. Something, ma'am. Ma'am, you are the boss, ma'am. If you will not sing, what will happen, ma'am? आप नहीं गाएंगी तो कैसे चलेगा?
I'll not sing. I'll just again couplet. खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है. So we as educators have to keep raising our bar on everyday basis.
Ma'am, you are taking advantage of being senior, ma'am.
कुछ तो लास्ट मैसेज
लास्ट स्कूल की ही जो आपकी वो है
सर बताइए स्कूल
जो आपके स्कूल की है मैम. इन अ मेलोडी यू शुड सिंग मैम.
स्कूल की मेरे
स्कूल प्रेयर मैम. यस
फरजाना मैम बोल दीजिए अर्जी शिकार कर ले हम लोगों की कपलेट गाने दें. जो बेसुरे लोग हैं हम लोग कहाँ जाएं.
Mitushi ma'am, you sang very well. Please don't.
Farzana ma'am, we are waiting.
Arey no sir, it's
school prayer ma'am.
So then too everyone joins.
Okay, we'll join with you ma'am. Please start.
Which one? Simplest one.
Your school poem ma'am. Your school prayer ma'am.
We have English prayer actually. These are prayer songs.
Okay ma'am. We'll go for that also ma'am. आपकी आवाज सुननी बस.
अभी पता है सारा मैथ्स चल रहा है माइंड.
तो आप 1 2 3 4 गा दीजिए मैम, कोई बात नहीं.
Art integration, ma'am. Art integration.
Art and good. Farzana ma'am, you're not singing then.
No, sir.
No problem, ma'am. You're a senior, taking advantage of that, ma'am. No worries. So Nirmal sir, please over to you, sir.
Okay, sir. मैं तो अभी मना ही नहीं करता, पहले करता था. ऐ जिंदगी गले लगा ले, ऐ जिंदगी गले लगा ले, हमने भी तेरे हर एक गम को गले से लगाया है ना. That's it. Thank you.
सर ये शादी के बाद का दर्द बाहर आ रहा है सर.
आ रहा है सर. आज आपने मुझे जितना बोलते हुए सुना वो पूरा हफ्ते में बोलता हूँ सर.
That's great sir. That's great sir. चलिए मैं भी 2 लाइनें बोल देता हूँ. फरजाना मैम ने तो कहा नहीं गाने के लिए, लेकिन गा देता हूँ मैं, सीनियर है मेरी. तो चलते चलते मेरे ये गीत याद रखना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you Farzana ma'am, Mitushi ma'am, Monica ma'am, and Nirmal sir for coming over here and spending your time over here. Hope to see you. I hope you have enjoyed and learned also. And we'll be meeting in another episode in another season for sure. Hope to see you again. I hope we'll meet Farzana ma'am next week for sure. Ma'am, you're coming to Kanpur. I'll be there for sure. I'll talk to you over a phone call for sure. Welcome to Kanpur then. Monica ma'am, do come to Kanpur sometime.
Sure.
I will come to Chandigarh for sure if you will invite or not. When I'll be there, I'll be at your school.
Everybody most welcome. I would invite.
I'll be sharing the contact details with each other, and we'll be there. Nirmal sir will be also be in contact with you. All of us will be in contact with you. Thank you so much for coming, all of you. See you.